President Trump also plans to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin this Friday in Alaska.
President Trump says Ukraine may need to give up some land. Ukraine says that's a non-starter. NBC's Daniel Hamanjen has more from London.
Well, Donald Trump said this would be a meeting to, quote, feel out Vladimir Putin, and that he would know within the first 2 minutes if the Russian leader wants a deal. He also repeated that there'll be some land swaps. In other words, that Ukraine would have to give up parts of its territory. That statement has alarmed U.S. allies here in Europe and certainly in Ukraine. Their position boils down to this: the aggressor cannot be rewarded. Surrendering territory to Russia, they say, would only encourage more Russian aggression. Now, it doesn't look like Volodymyr Zelenskyy is on the guest list for Friday, but however, Trump has noted that he would immediately relay the details of his conversation to the Ukrainian leader. Zelenskyy has rejected the idea that his country should give up land to secure a ceasefire. Zelenskyy, in fact, wants a ceasefire before negotiations can even begin, so they're not even agreeing on a starting point here. The Europeans have been sidelined from this meeting, which they're not very happy about. They're also unhappy about the fact that Ukraine itself, the country that's been invaded, will not be there. Now, tomorrow, on Wednesday, there'll be a series of virtual meetings, an emergency virtual summit, if you will. Donald Trump is expected to join some of those meetings that will include European leaders and Volodymyr Zelenskyy. It'll be their last chance to make their case collectively before Friday's summit. Danielle Hamamjan, NBC News, London.
Residents of Alaska have had a range of reactions to Friday's planned meeting. Some plan to protest one or both world leaders, and conspiracy theorists have also latched on to President Trump's vague remarks about land swaps, saying without any factual backing that Alaska could be given back to Russia in exchange for a ceasefire. Again, that's a completely baseless claim.